I came across this article that totally got me thinking. Psychology Today mentions that people who prioritize a fulfilling life are generally happier. Makes sense, right? There's also a study in Frontiers of Psychology that talks about what makes life fulfilling, but I won't get into all the details. I'll just leave that link in the description if you're curious. The researchers in the study tried to nail down what makes life fulfilling, like being able to chase your own goals, seizing opportunities, and having the guts to do what's most important to you. They asked participants how things like making a positive impact, pursuing what feels authentic, and having a sense of purpose influence their sense of fulfillment. The big takeaway from the study is that people can find fulfillment in all sorts of places: nature, learning, parenting, friendships, volunteering, and personal growth. It's all about being able to pursue your own goals and grabbing opportunities when they come your way, and having the courage to do what's important to you. After reading all this, it got me thinking again about what my big life goals are and whether they're actually going to lead to a fulfilling life. It made me wonder if some of the normal life goals that society pushes on us might be a bit overrated and not really lead to that sense of fulfillment that we're all after. Now, I've thought about this a lot since losing my dad 7 years ago at only 72, and again when my younger sis had a stroke last year. That one came out of nowhere. But if you consider the stress levels she was operating under and how hot she was running as a mental health nurse through COVID and beyond, it kind of starts to make plausible sense. I guess there's nothing like a significant loss to make you take stock of what's really important and make you want to reevaluate and reassess, right? Like Pops always told me to stick with the safe, secure job, but on his deathbed, he said, live your life and don't wait. So I thought I'd share my take on some common life goals that might not be all they're cracked up to be. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Plus, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It always totally helps. All right, let's dive into what I think might be some overrated life goals. First up is being the top dog at work, aiming to be the number one producer or climbing to the top of the corporate ladder. If that's your goal, just know it often comes with a lot of sacrifice. We're talking years of grinding away, missing family moments, giving up personal time, all for a shot at that top spot. And the reality is, most of us won't get there. For the majority, it's a lot of hard work without the big payoff. But if you're in that small percentage that does make it and it makes you happy, more power to you. But for the rest of us, it might be worth reconsidering if chasing that title is actually worth the cost. Check this out. Our modern education system, as you know it, was literally designed to create future factory workers. Don't believe me? Look it up. Teaching us to be quote unquote functional, docile, and sober, priming us to fit neatly into that workforce. But now that we're here, it's clear that system pushes us toward a stressful grind that often leaves little room for true happiness. So maybe it's time to set some boundaries and focus on enjoying life more and pursue other fulfilling goals. People close to me work their butts off for the six-figure payday, but their stress levels are absolutely insane. And after having stress impact me physically, I know trying to be the best is not for me, and I just want more out of life. After all, life expectancy is 76 and a half years old in the United States, making midlife 38. If you're Canadian, slightly higher at 41 and a half. As a Gen Xer, this was a massive wake-up call. So working 60 or 70 hours a week till 55 or even 60 to be the top producer and then coasting a few more years till retirement to then start living your golden years sounds like a crock of to me and a big waste of time. I've said this before, but your golden years are now, no matter where you're at in life. I get that you might not want to make a change because then all that time is wasted or done in vain if you pivot or do something else. But what's worse, pivoting to something you enjoy so you aren't so stressed and starting to have more work-life balance so you can maybe climb a Mayan temple in your 40s, or staying in that comfortable rut until retirement and then hoping that A, you're still alive and the stress didn't kill you along the way, or B, that you're even healthy enough to get on a plane, never mind climb a ruin or go on a hike. I might totally sound like a hypocrite because I love what I do, designing and selling t-shirts online and teaching others how to do it too, but I'm working for myself and I'm not putting off the things I want to do outside of work. And hey, if you do decide to pivot and explore what's out there, chances are really, really good that your job will still be there if you want to go back to it in a year anyway. Number two, getting married. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against marriage. I'm married. If it's something you truly want, Great. My wife said we never needed to get married, but I felt like I needed to based on how I was conditioned. It was the norm. And though my parents didn't pressure us in some kind of way, I still felt like it was preferred to get some sort of approval that I thought I needed. Anyway, the point of this one is that sometimes that big wedding and all the traditional expectations can be super overrated. The huge guest list, the 100K price tag, got a big family, right? And all the stress that comes with it can be a lot. If marrying the love of your life makes you happy, then obviously go for it. But maybe consider a more simpler, meaningful celebration like a friend's cottage or small gathering on the beach. That's what we did. Or if it's not your thing, don't feel pressured to do it just because it's the norm. The bottom line is that your happiness is what matters most, not anybody else's. Number three is that big dream house. Sure, having a home you love is awesome and great and all that, but if it's your dream and not just what society or Instagram says it should be, it's easy to get caught up in wanting all the features you can see in magazines or on TV, but at the end of the day, your home should fit your lifestyle and make you happy. Don't hold on to things you don't need, like that bathtub you never use and don't want to get rid of through a renovation just because it might appeal to some fictional future buyers in like 10 or 15 years from now. It's your space, so make it work for you and enjoy it now. This is something I wish I had done sooner in our first two houses. We were in our second house for almost 9 years and never bothered to put things on the walls. I just never cared to. But Stacy kind of did care to, but she never really mentioned it until we were, getting ready to sell and painted and put stuff up. We then sold that 4 bed, 3 bath house and downsized to 2 bedrooms on an acre because we needed more space for our puppy. And we didn't need 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. And we were able to be mortgage free. But when we moved, we painted and hung pictures up almost immediately. We made it our own. And in just 3 weeks at the new spot, Stacy said that that house felt more like home than the 8 years we spent at the previous house. Crazy, right? But I totally agree. Number four, it's the idea of moving to a big city. A big city can be exciting with lots to do and see, but they're also often super expensive, super crowded, and can feel super impersonal. I get the appeal. I was born in a big city in Canada, and I used to think living in a big city was the dream too, especially in high school. That urban allure of the underground social scenes and all that diversity, it was real. But after visiting a lot and staying with friends, then getting older and wanting to actually be able to afford an apartment, I realized it's not for everyone. I love visiting big cities like Toronto and especially Montreal, but living there full time just isn't for me. Toronto was and is being increasingly plagued with homelessness, drug abuse, and all kinds of socioeconomic issues. So, suburbia it was for us. For starters, it's what we knew. But as the towns we lived in got more and more built up and congested, we kept moving east to less densely populated areas. Sometimes a smaller town with a slower pace and a close knit community can offer a much more satisfying lifestyle. Plus, the cookie cutter housing sucks too once you get a taste of a more secluded rural lifestyle that lets you get a little closer to nature. Put yourself first and ask yourself what you actually want versus what you think you want. For us, that meant leaving Canada behind and moving to Keokuk or Belize a year ago. Next year, who knows? I honestly love that I don't know where I'm going to be in a year or two from now. Fifth, let's talk about becoming a millionaire. Sure, financial security is important, and money can definitely make life easier. But chasing the millionaire status just for the sake of it can be super overrated. $1 million doesn't stretch nearly as far as it used to, and managing that money can come with its own set of headaches. I'm not saying not to go for it, but do you really need that much to feel fulfilled? For me, it's more about having enough to live comfortably. I do what I enjoy, and I take care of the people that I care about. The point is that the goal shouldn't be about hitting a certain number. It should be about creating a life that makes you happy. Money might not buy happiness, but on occasion, it does afford you the luxury to do the things that make you happy. Just make sure you actually do some of those things. Don't put them off because you're afraid to see your account balance dip by a little bit if you can make that money back in a week or something. We have no kids, so we plan to die broke if we live that long. What I've learned is that the life of your dreams doesn't begin at some far off finish line. It starts with the choices you make every single day. That's why I wanted to make this video. First, to remind you that it's important to always have something inspiring in your life to look forward to. It doesn't need to be a massive, massive goal like starting a new business or anything like that, but having something that inspires you and keeps you moving forward is absolutely key. Without that, your life can feel like you're just going through the motions, kind of like an overplayed video game where everything starts to feel sort of empty. Second, and probably the most important thing, is realizing that the life of your dreams is much closer than you think. Like I said, it doesn't start at the end. It starts when you consistently put in the effort towards your goals. You could literally be living that life in just a few weeks or even days from now if you make a solid plan, figure out what truly matters to you, and start to take action. By pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and working steadily towards what you want, you can start feeling fulfilled much sooner than you think. And overcoming any of the challenges we face outside of our comfort zone gives us the courage to keep moving forward. In fact, some people are already living a pretty great life but don't even realize it. Just like college kids who don't realize they're having the best time of their lives while they're having it until it's over, many people are stuck waiting for some future achievement to be unlocked or some milestone to make them happy. They think they'll only be satisfied once they reach the certain goal, whether it's money, a dream body, or some other milestone. But here's the truth, there's no final endpoint. Once you reach one goal, you'll either feel empty or immediately set a new one. It's just what we do. What really matters is what you do on a daily basis. So don't waste these amazing years of your life thinking that happiness only comes later. You could already be living the life of your dreams right now. And as Gen Xers, we're already on some kind of borrowed time, whether we want to believe it or not. Life is happening now, not at the finish line. Let me know what you think down below, and we'll see you in the next one.